So, Miss Taylor Swift has been going viral lately, due in large part to the release of her latest album, The Life of a Showgirl. I think for a lot of people, our perceptions of our big celebrities, our big artists, are starting to change. As I talked about in my last video, with a lot of these people losing the plot, the tides are definitely turning. And it was a big surprise for me to see that so many of Taylor Swift's own fans are criticizing her. A lot of them were not really feeling this album. Of course, there's a lot of them who, will stand anything she does, but a lot of people were not a big fan of this album. A lot of people are starting to see that the Emperor does not have any clothes on. A lot of people are, criticizing her lyrics and how repetitive her music is and how she genuinely hasn't grown as an artist. And for the rest of us out here who were not fans of her, we're like, you couldn't tell? Like, you couldn't tell this whole time that her music was Barney music? But a lot of her lyrics aren't great, and they haven't been great. It's just the perspective that she has, that she comes from. They make certain people with certain looks famous and make certain types of music famous. That just is what it is. And I'll also go further to say that Taylor Swift marketed herself as someone who talks about people in her music. So she's very messy, okay? And this is one thing that her fans will never own up to. She's an extremely, extremely messy woman, extremely gossipy. I'll never forget this advertisement that she made that I will not share because from what I understand, she's making extreme copyright claims left and right on people. There was a commercial where she was releasing an album and she was promoting the album release, and she was like, my new album is dropping on such and such a date, and this time I'm naming names. So she profits off of the fact that people know when they listen to her album, it's going to be messy. It's going to be talking about people, other artists, female artists, men that she's dated. She's going to talk shit about people. And so this is what I don't understand about her fans, is the second that you make some kind of commentary criticism about her, of course, fire be upon you. And it was the same thing basically in my comment section on TikTok. Fire be upon me for having the nerve to criticize the fact that, like I said, Taylor Swift's music has not matured, since she started. And I saw someone describe it as like writing in your diary music, showing your diary music. That is what she does. It's old. It's tired. Like, you're 36. You haven't grown in any way, and her new album, is very much like, oh, I'm trying to be so spicy, which is, a whole nother conversation about why all of a sudden now you with this man, you're like, oh, I got to try and appear like I'm spicy and I have sex and I cuss and I can be bad too. That was a whole controversy. I'm not a bad bitch. I'm not a savage, whatever. Woe is me. Why won't he pick me, please? Like, can't you just see? Like, she wears short skirts. I wear t-shirts. She's cheer captain and I'm on the bleachers. Like, why can't you just see? I wear Converses and she wears stilettos. Like, why can't you just see that you belong with me? It's that vibe. Pick me. Like, she's been crapping on the baddie aesthetic girls, like, the Instagram models type. She's been dunking on these types of girls, and this doesn't have anything to do with race, but she has been dunking before she dated Travis Kelce, who has a history of dating black women, whatever. That's a whole thing. Plenty of people have talked about it. That's not what I'm here to talk about today. But she has been dunking on women who she believes are inferior to her. She has been dunking on them for years, for over a decade now. I get it. I was that girl previously of like, why can't he just see that he belongs with me? I wear Converses. I'm an alternative, like all the shit. Intimidated by those types of girls. She has not realized yet that those are not, if the guy likes them type of girls, that's not the guy for you. Instead, she just puts down the fact that the guys that she likes those types of girls. Maybe you have the wrong type. Maybe you have the wrong taste. Forgive me that the opening of this video is going to be a little bit of a Taylor Swift rant, and then we'll get to the meat and potatoes, okay? And so Taylor Swift for me, has joined the league of these other major artists. Like I talked about in my last video, Nicole Kidman, Spike Lee, the veterans, okay? She has joined the league of veterans who have lost the plot. They no longer relate to the people. They just don't get it anymore, okay? She's trying to sell something to people that they can't buy anymore. I think this last album woke a lot of people up. She reminds me of Drake, of Nicki Minaj, these rappers, music artists who are still just making songs about the same thing. And it's almost like they're not really talking about no real shit, because they're just doing what has previously made them money. For example, Drake he's kind of transitioned, so his music has gotten more and more misogynistic, with the slime you out, her loss era or whatever. Granted, a lot of people were calling him out on his stuff a long time ago. I started to notice his anger towards women a couple albums back, but he was able to hide it really well. But, now it's very obvious and plain to see, in the music and the lyric, him looking down on the same exact women that he's always drawn to. And it's very obvious that he's dating very, very young girls and then, ridiculing them and bad mouthing them, talking down to them because they're not as mature as he wishes that they would be, and then they do stupid stuff and play him when it's like, why are you dating a 21-year-old girl when you're 37, and then talking about she's immature? It's weird. Anyway, so another reason why Taylor Swift's fans appear to be upset with her is because somehow this woman has managed to release 28 versions of her latest album, The Life of a Showgirl. Due to high demand, we will be limiting the purchase quantity of 4 units per item per guest for the Taylor Swift The Life of a Showgirl exclusive editions. The CD, exclusive CD, different ones, the vinyl. We apologize for the inconvenience. So there are people who are buying more than 4 of an item. So with the CD, different covers. She's such a scammer, bro. It's the same on this side. Yeah. The covers are all good, but it's really not that serious, yo. And so her fans will buy all the different versions of this album because they want to support her. They'll buy the cassette version, they'll buy the vinyl, they will buy the CD, they will buy the acoustic version. She has so many crazy versions. I'll probably post a picture here, but the mountaintop, the alone in my room, the alone in my tower. What the hell does that even mean? It's just a big money grab. You can see why she's a billionaire, right? Her team coming up with all these tips and tricks in order to siphon as much money out of her fans as possible with creating all these versions, the same album with different covers. Obviously no one's forcing them to do this, but I still feel like it's scummy, it's scammy, it's creepy. It'd be one thing if she had the same album and let's say it just had different covers. It would be one thing if, let's say she had the album and then, had a deluxe version. And then maybe had the album with different covers, because I've heard of artists doing that, right? But to then make 10 different versions of an album, the acoustic album, the tracks. She had one type of album that was it was literally the album with her speaking about the song that was about to play for 30 seconds. It wasn't even some detailed, well thought out, long explanation about where the inspiration for the music came from. It was just her talking about it for 30 seconds. And how do I know this? Because you give these people an inch, they take a mile. I kind of liked her song, The Fate of Ophelia, which is the single, the main single, I believe, from the album. I like the melody. I think the lyrics are really stupid. I think, you know, the pledge allegiance to your hands, your team, your vibes. I feel like that shit is just very like, it's very like Americana propaganda. Like, it's hard for me to unhear these things at this point. It's like, once you can knows how America operates and you can see it, it's like you can't unsee it. So I didn't really like that fact, but I like the melody. It was kind of groovy, you know. And I was listening to it on YouTube Music, and then right after the song was finished playing, another version of the song played, and then another version. I thought maybe I hit the repeat button. I just let it go. And then I went to look, and I was like, wait, this one is orange. The last one was green. And now this other one's a different color. Like that is manipulation, you know? There was another artist that probably made some kind of similar music, good song that could have played next, that doesn't have a freaking $1 billion. But no, she paid whatever she paid, her payola, to get played 2 and 3 times next in the algorithm. These people are sick, okay? They're literally sick. And it never will be enough for them. So this is why we have to keep criticizing them and keeping our foot on their necks. I also learned today that Taylor Swift is apparently selling her voice memos. Her voice memos, her voice notes that she used to talk with her producers about the songs that they were creating. She is selling the voice notes. It's just sick. Like, how did she just do it with a straight face? I find that to be so strange. Well, of course, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like Taylor Swift is the only artist that does this. People are also starting to wake up about the queen, Beyonce, as well. I've always loved music. I've been in music, but I've never been like a concert person. I've been to a few concerts. Maybe it's because I never been to that like one life-changing concert where you just feel the music and it's such an amazing performance and you just feel with the crowd, you just feel one with everybody. I never been to a concert like that because for me, I never wanted to spend the amount of money to be in a concert like that. The artist who I stand, my king, my everything is Michael Jackson. Okay, we are not the same. We're not the same. I'm not gonna lie, I am a little bit snobby about that, about being a Michael Jackson fan. I genuinely feel we are not the same. Okay, we don't have the same taste. We don't have the same taste. We're not in the same universe. You know what I mean? That was the only person for me that I was like, oh, I hope that one day I will have enough money to pay to go to his concerts. Because we know his concerts was crazy money too. But you know what you're going to get. And even Beyonce has that reputation. Like, you know it's going to be a good show. But even still, the times that we're in and the fact that she's just going on tour again and again. And again, no one is forcing them to pay these prices. But you know, $1,700 for tickets. That's just crazy to me. That is crazy to me. Even people saying the nosebleeds, you know, is paying $350 to $400. Like, you really see how where these artists, you know, make their billions, is going on tour, charging these insane, crazy prices, and not an act of charity in sight. Okay, you know, Beyonce definitely got criticized a lot last year for their lack of activism, and you know, there always is something, always coming out with something to rifle through people's pockets. If it's not Jay-Z trying to open up the casino in Times Square, it's, you know, like I said, Beyonce going on tour again, and then also the release of her hair care line, and the 5 minutes that she tried to pretend like she was going to be talking to her fans more, when it was clearly it's just a money grab. You know, her hairline sacred. I've never used a product. Maybe it's a good product, I don't know, but it's like, you don't talk to your fans, you don't interact. You know, we did see you the other day at that, I guess it was a charity event, sitting next to the Trumps. We did see you there. We know that y'all in with the top NFL people. Jay-Z said, we are not the same. We are not the same anymore. And you know, I get it. I understand. People grow, people mature. People get on different levels. They want to be seen a certain way, perceived a certain way. They want to be in certain rooms. But it's like, I love how Beyonce just came out when her hair care line, she came out and she was like talking to the camera and like showing her products and stuff. And it's like, she did that for literally 2 seconds and then stopped talking to y'all. Like, literally after that, she made it seem like she was about to be more facing with her fans. Nope. Another artist that loves to rifle through her fans' pockets, Rihanna. Love her. I love Rihanna. I do have a complicated relationship with Rihanna because she's from Barbados. My family's from Barbados. I want to support her, but I just literally can't. I literally can't. I love her music. She's definitely one of my favorite artists. But the way she moves, obviously, she moves like the billionaires, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, they want a certain lifestyle. They want to be in certain rooms, but we cannot ignore the fact that Rihanna, has her Savage Fenty line and that whole controversy with her scamming customers into a VIP subscription to the Savage Fenty lingerie line. Why anybody would need a subscription to a lingerie line? I've definitely been an impulsive shopper in my day. Of course, I have I'm so proud of myself that I was able to break that. I had an itchy Amazon finger. I really, really did. But I am so happy that I was able to break that. Literally months. I can go months without ordering anything from Amazon. Like, it's literally on a absolute need basis, and the need is usually because I don't have the finances to order it from somewhere else, but I have been diversifying where I buy things, especially on internet. But I used to have an itchy Amazon finger, especially if you have that like next day shipping. It's really difficult to get out of it, but I cut myself off, and like now it's like, why did I ever think I needed that? You know what I mean? I don't know why anybody would need a subscription to a lingerie service. I will bet money. I could be wrong. This is an opinion. I will bet money that if I looked at the material on those labels, it's not going to be cotton. It's not going to be linen. It's not going to be silk. It's going to be rayon. It's going to be nylon. It's going to be polyester. It's going to be plastic crap. And she was signing people up. People were signing up thinking that it's a rewards program, and then it ends up being a subscription, which from what I just looked quickly, correct me if I'm wrong, is $60 a month. $60 fucking dollars a month to be subscribed to her Savage Fenty whatever shit. Okay, and we know that this is just like something that she slaps her name on. I'm not being convinced that she's in the lab, working on the. Maybe that's the case. I was in Ulta the other day. Okay, I don't buy as much makeup as I used to, but certain things you want to make sure it's good quality. If you put anything in your eyes, my eyeliner, my concealer, I need to make sure that it's good quality. It's not some cheap. I think I was looking for some new lip gloss, some tinted lip gloss. I love this one by L'Oreal. This is $8.99, okay? $8.99 from Walmart, and it's perfect. Like, I was looking for lip gloss in other shades, other textures, because that one was really hard to find. Because most of them were too sticky, they were too liquidy, they didn't tint enough. It was hard to find one that I like. So I just was like, let me just check out Brianna's just to see. Why was the lip gloss? I don't remember the exact price, but it was like $30 something. $30 something for lip gloss. Like, when I looked at her, I've never bought a single Fenty, and I'm Bajan. I wanted to support her. I haven't bought a single Pika, nothing from her, because the prices have always been out fucking rageous. And we all know that people who are into makeup are getting raked over the coals. Like, they are some of the most corporate, capitalistic, exploited people in this country. But the second you talk about makeup, people get really, really, really sensitive and offended. So I'm sorry if I have offended you, that I believe you're being exploited royally, because buying makeup is like an addiction. It really is. Buying makeup, and it is. I'm so glad that I was able to break that mentality as well. She also does the same exact thing, beats her fans, always digging in their pockets. And I almost forgot to mention Rihanna's hair care line. Does anybody remember that? It was literally last year. But does anyone remember that? Because it came and went so fucking fast. Not long after Beyonce as well dropped her hair care line. Okay, over there at Rockefeller, they digging in people's pockets. Okay, it was not long at all after Beyonce dropped her hair care stick. Okay, then Rihanna comes along. If she decides she's gonna drop a hair care line, guys, She promoted this hair care line wearing a wig. She promoted this hair care line wearing a wig. Does anybody remember that? This happened just last year, but does anyone remember? Because it was so absurd that it came and went, and it was like, nobody remembers this. Nobody remembers that she did this. After she came out with the wig, people were roasting her. Some people were excited. They were like, oh, we can't wait. You know, Rihanna came out with a hair care line. They would have thought she would have did it sooner. Interesting how her and Beyonce did it at the same time. Very weird energy, weird vibes there. Ooh, I don't know if this is true. This is just a conspiracy theory I just came up with just now. What if like both hair care lines were made by the same manufacturer and they just like pushed hers and it's like all coming from the same place? It's like all going to the same place. That's just a random conspiracy theory, not based in any truth at all. I just think that would be interesting, and stranger things have happened. Anyway, she came out with the hair care line wearing a wig, literally in the advertisements, wearing a wig, which there's nothing wrong with wearing wigs, but promoting a hair care product while not showing what it looks like on your hair and you're the model in the advertisements, I'm sorry, that's like, someone contact the FTC. That is that kind of level, okay? Especially with the type of large celebrity character that you are. So she came out and she promoted the product wearing the wig, and people were dragging her like, is she serious right now? Like, is she really serious? And then like a couple days later, you see her out in LA or New York or something, and she's not wearing a wig. She has her natural hair out, and it looked so nice. She has her natural hair out. It looks so nice, but it was like, you're literally only doing this because people criticized you and people called you out. And then I think we saw her one more time wearing her natural hair out and supposedly the product, and then never again after that. Literally the same way Beyonce disappeared after she made it seem like she's about to be talking to her fans more. Rihanna brought out her natural hair and then she just got rid of it again. Like that, like so fast after. Oh man, these people are sick, man. They're actually sickos. Like I talked about this in a previous video, but there are people like you know, Rihanna, Taylor Swift, Beyonce, they are a company, you know, they are a brand, you know what I mean? And so they have tons of employees that depend on them and stuff, and they have, you know, people that sit in rooms and like decide what you're going to do next. Kanye West talked about this in a very, 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 very controversial way, of course, but there are people that will sit in rooms and design what products they're going to represent, what they're going to do, who they're going to do, where they're going to go, you know, what they're going to be involved with, and like thinking up and scheming and plotting and coming up with ways to like, you know, get money. Like they're like parasites, really, like how to get money, like out of the fans. Just like, oh wait, let me not. That was not what I was trying to do. Okay, that was not what I was trying to do. But they are just like, I'm thinking of like a larva. You know how the larva just is like this as it sucks on the host? Like that's literally what these people are to the American public. It's totally crazy. Yes, Taylor Swift is not the only person that does it, but are you guys people who are influenced by celebrities promoting products? I have been a celebrity follower since I was a wee little lad, okay? Since I was a pickney, okay? They've never really influenced me to do anything. I ain't gonna hold you. I have a lot of shirts with Michael Jackson on it. I have a lot of Michael Jackson artwork in my home, at least 5 or 6 art pieces of Michael Jackson, and I want more. Okay? I mean, I'm sure I have bought something, you know, because someone, but you know, and of course I buy things that are trending, but like, I don't know, maybe I'm just old now. Like, I'm sorry, like Rihanna is selling a hair product is not going to get me to buy it. I'm going to buy a hair product that works. Actually, one of these celebrities promoting something is probably going to make me want to stay away from it. Honestly, the way my mental has been going, you know what I mean? I just want to, are you guys the type of people who buy things because a celebrity is hawking it? Maybe you wanted to, maybe you tried something because you heard it was like, you know, them selling. I remember Taraji P. Henson has a hairline. Diana Ross should have came out with a damn hairline, but instead Tracy Ellis Ross, she has a hairline. I haven't tried it. But yeah, I just think it's so crazy. These celebrities just digging in their fans' pockets. I mean, maybe because he's a guy, he doesn't do it. But I mean, you gotta give it to Drake. I never ever felt like that with him. Like, damn, this guy is just really just trying to take his fans for everything that they've got. Like, that's definitely a negative you can say about these female celebrities, is that female celebrities 100% take advantage of their female fans and how the proclivity for women to make purchases and stuff. So yeah, just weird stuff from the fat cats of our society, the bigwigs, the billionaire class. You know, what are they gonna do next? What are they up to next? Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know what you guys think about the things I said. If you remember that Rihanna Beyonce hair thing last year, and what you think about these celebrities digging in their fans' pockets. It's crazy.